Hi, welcome to this short presentation where I'm going to tell you the key things you need to know about the 3 different MLitt programmes we run in theatre studies at the University of Glasgow. My name is Liz Tomlin and I am one of the professors in the theatre studies subject area. I am also currently acting as the co-convener of our 3 MLitt programmes alongside my colleague Graham Eatoff. Each of the 3 programmes has a convener who acts as a first point of contact for students. The conveners are able to offer expert advice, to guide students on choosing which options to enrol on, and to offer ongoing support throughout the academic year. Each of the 3 MLitt programmes consists of 120 credits of taught courses across semesters 1 and 2, followed in the May to August period by a 60-credit independent research project, which might be an academic dissertation or practice-based research project, commonly a play text or performance. Although each programme has its own cohort, all students come together to study the research methods course, and both TPP and P&D students work together on contemporary dramaturgical practices. We also ensure that there are other opportunities for students to come together. These might vary each year, but this year, for example, we have been running Friday lunches for informal get-togethers, and a slot called the Friday Studio, where students can book space to put on performances or workshops for other students to attend on a Friday lunchtime. I'm now going to take each of the 3 programmes in turn, starting with theatre and performance practices. In semester 1, students take research methods, a course which introduces all our students to the different methodologies that research can take. These would include historiographical approaches, practice-based approaches, and performance analysis, among many more. They also take contemporary devising practices, where the students take part in workshops to develop a wide range of contemporary theatre-making strategies. They are then asked to work collaboratively in small groups to produce original pieces of work. In semester 2, they take contemporary dramaturgical practices, along with the P&D students, where they engage in a number of lectures and workshops exploring different dramaturgical frameworks and practices utilised in contemporary performance today. Independent practice stretches across both semesters. Here, students are encouraged to build up their own individual programme of research-based practice. In addition, they can take an elective course from a wide range of courses based in theatre studies or from across the school, or can opt to undertake a work placement within the local cultural and creative industries. In place of the final dissertation, students undertake a practices research project, or PARP. This usually takes the form of a piece of original performance, which is performed in the theatre over 2 or 3 days in August. In addition to research methods in semester 1, playwriting and dramaturgy students will take Playwriting 1, in which they are tutored through the writing of a short play, and Debating Dramaturgy, a course which engages students in a critical exploration of dramaturgical frameworks throughout a range of historical options and contexts. In semester 2, they will take contemporary dramaturgical practices with the TPP students, and also choose to specialise either in playwriting or dramaturgy. For playwriting, students will take Playwriting 2, in which they will be guided through the writing of a second, more substantial playtext. Those opting to specialise in dramaturgy will undertake a dramaturgical placement with a professional partner organisation. All P&D students will also take an elective course of their choice from across the school or college. For the independent research project, students can opt to complete a traditional academic dissertation, or they can choose to write a playtext driven by research questions and framed within a critical discourse. As well as research methods, theatre studies students will also take a core course in Scottish theatre, which introduces students to the richness of Scottish theatre and all its various histories, geographies, politics and practices. As a programme, theatre studies is designed to enable students to take a wide range of elective courses, enabling them to construct strong interdisciplinary pathways, to maintain an eclectic and broad range of topics, or to refine and specialise their own research-driven journey. They can also benefit from participating in some of the practice-based courses that are core to either TPP or P&D. Most theatre studies students complete their studies with a traditional academic dissertation, often in preparation for further study at doctoral level. But the independent research project does enable students, if they wish, to benefit from the alternative modes of research open to students on the P&D programme and other modes of practice-based research in consultation with their supervisor. These are just some of the electives that are open to all MLitt students from our 3 programmes. Outside the School of Culture and Creative Arts are many more. In addition, students can opt to study one of our undergraduate courses as one of their electives. So now I'm going to look at some aspects of each of our 3 programmes in turn that we think makes the experience they offer particularly rewarding. Our TPP programme gives you the opportunity to be supported across the whole 12 months of study through IP 1, 2 and 3 in building up a coherent programme of independent performance practice that culminates in a practices research project in place of the more traditional academic dissertation. Students will be supported across the year by in-house tutors who have had or continue to have their own career in professional practice, an in-house technician, a fully equipped theatre space, and be mentored through their practices research project by an academic supervisor and a professional artist who is brought in to mentor each student through their journey. Our P&D programme gives you the opportunity to be supported across the whole 12 months of study in building up a coherent programme of playwriting through Playwriting 1 and Playwriting 2. Students opting for these courses will be tutored by professional playwrights and will benefit from their vast industry experience and expertise. We have also run a script development workshop for a number of years now and hope to do so in the future, in which a professional director and professional actors provide the first read-through of the plays produced and additional feedback on future improvement. The 60-credit independent research project can take the form of a research-driven playtext in place of the more traditional academic dissertation, although a full dissertation is also an option if students wish to take it. Students wishing to focus on dramaturgical development will benefit from 2 courses focusing specifically on dramaturgy, debating dramaturgy and contemporary dramaturgical practices, as well as being able to undertake a dramaturgically focused work placement and engage with doctoral and postdoctoral research in one of theatre studies' 3 specialist research hubs, dramaturgy as critical practice. The MLitt in Theatre Studies is designed for those students who are interested in pursuing a broader study of this subject area, while also allowing them to focus on a particular field of interest for independent research. Theatre Studies has a rich research culture that will benefit students wishing to embark on a research-driven programme, with regular public research seminars led by in-house and visiting theatre academics, specialist research hubs in dramaturgy as critical practice, theatre, performance and social justice, and ecology and environment, as well as a thriving doctoral community of researchers to ensure a year-round programme of research events. In addition to the programme-specific opportunities, students from all 3 programmes will have opportunities to work in industry-facing work placements of their choice, helping them to build career CVs and make important contacts and networks in the cultural and creative industries in Glasgow, Scotland, and sometimes beyond. Glasgow has an incredibly rich theatre scene and performance scene, from independent and experimental festivals that are produced throughout the year to permanent theatres of all sizes, enabling varied programmes from the work of emerging local artists and community projects to large-scale national and international touring productions. During August, you can have easy access to the world-renowned Edinburgh International Festival and Fringe, and we regularly engage in partnership working with the National Theatre of Scotland, a groundbreaking theatre with no venue building base, but an administrative and rehearsal base here in Glasgow. Theatre Studies has long-standing relationships with many of these organisations, and over recent years, students have benefited from gaining work placements with National Theatre Scotland, Scottish Youth Theatre, Citizens Theatre, Scottish Opera, Lyceum Theatre, and Take Me Somewhere. Types of work have included dramaturgical and literary management placements, assistant directing, outreach, education, festival production, stage managing and marketing, to name just a few. A number of our alumni go on to professional theatre making and playwriting careers. Others go on to doctoral study, undertaking traditional and practice-based PhDs. And many build careers in all aspects of the cultural and creative industries. Here are just a few examples of the jobs that recent alumni are now engaged in. For information on how to apply, please follow each of these links to your choice of programme, which will provide you with full instructions on the application process. All applicants for TPP and P&D should pay particular attention to sections on the application form which require them to outline their previous experience and evidence of interest in that field, and also their ambitions for the work they might like to make on the programme. Any further questions? Feel free to contact myself or Graham as indicated. We look forward to hearing from you and look forward to meeting as many of you in the future as possible. You can also keep up to date with Theatre Studies events by following our social links. So thank you very much for joining me today. And on behalf of the team at Glasgow, I would like to wish you all the best in whatever path you choose to follow. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am joined now by Liz and Christina from our Theatre Studies programmes. If you've got any questions for them, please pop them in the chat. They are here to answer them for you. But in the meantime, I thought I might kick things off. And well, first of all, from that presentation, it sounds like there is a lot of activity going on in Theatre Studies here at Glasgow. Lots of things to choose from. And I wondered if either of you could tell us if there's anything coming up this year in the next couple of months that our viewers can maybe get involved in.
Yes, so I will take this one, Liz. So we have an event coming up on the 26th of July. And if you are in Scotland, in Glasgow, in England, nearby, or if you fancy a visit, it's an open event. We're showcasing excerpts from the original plays that our students have created in the course Playwriting 2, which is part of the Playwriting and Dramaturgy MLitt. And this year, we are really fortunate to have those excerpts being directed by Philip Howard, who's one of the sort of central new writing directors here in Scotland, and they will be performed by professional actors. So it's a fantastic opportunity for our students to show their work, for everybody within the community at the university and beyond to get to know the excellent work that they're producing. And yeah, if you're around, it would be lovely to see you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christina. And I think if our offer holders keep an eye on their emails, we will potentially send some more details out about that. So yep, keep an eye on your inboxes, everyone. And you touched on community there, Christina, and obviously, Liz, you mentioned it in the presentation as well. Can you just remind us about the community that there is for the postgraduate students in theatre studies? Because again, it sounds like there's lots of ways for them to get involved and interact with each other and the wider community.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned in the presentation, there are courses that all students take. So that's an ideal opportunity across the 3 different programmes. All take research methods and all take the contemporary dramaturgy practices. So there's kind of classes where they can get to know each other as well. But also there are outside of the programme. We try to arrange events, and these might differ and vary from year to year. There's always theatre and performance students will always collaborate with each other on their performances. That generally happens on a year-by-year basis. But we also try to offer just space up. So this year, for example, Graham, who was running the first half of the year, set up a Friday lunches straight after the shared research method sessions. So students could just go along and meet staff who were there, just have sandwiches or whatever, and just a little bit of social space that was kind of set up for them. And we also have Friday studios this year as well, which is open to any student to book the space and have hold either workshops or do a play reading event, or anything they want to use that space for. We'll support them in marketing that and making the most of those opportunities.
And what the students have said, oh, sorry.
No, sorry, I'm just saying that sounds amazing. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's really good. What the students have said is that these moments are both social, they're really sort of like lovely to be able to meet people from your program, but from outside, from the other programs as well, but also giving really good opportunities to meet collaborators. So if you're in the playwriting course, you might meet somebody who's really interested in theatre making, and the sort of like conversations that may happen, very casually over a sandwich might actually lead to something really exciting. And the same with the Friday studios. Just seeing work together might also spark conversations and creativity in that way. So they're sort of like generative in more than one way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. And I suppose that'd be terrible of me not to mention the wider Glasgow theatre scene as well, which again, Liz, you mentioned in the presentation. And this is perhaps a bit of a cheeky question from me, but I wondered if either of you have any personal favourites or recommendations in terms of the venues or any of the festivals. Are there any that you particularly enjoy yourselves?
I mean, there's activities all year round. I'll pass over to Cristina for her kind of choice. But I think it's probably worth mentioning that one big event that's happening is the Citizens Theatre, which has a huge history in Glasgow's cultural scene. Has actually been closed. I'm not sure for how long now, at least a couple of years. For refurbishment. It might even be longer than that, but it's about to open up. And we are working in partnership with the SITs on a really exciting course that will be available for playwriting and dramaturgy students and theatre studies students, and possibly the TPP if they don't take up the work placement, but basically working with their team on applied theatre and theatre in the community, and students will be going to the Citizens Theatre to take that course with people who are actively working in the community, and there'll be work placements available following that for this next coming year. It's the second year of a funded partnership, so that's really exciting for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna sabotage the question because because I feel like if I mention one, then I don't want to pick favorites. Like I really enjoy the National Theatre of Scotland, as Liz mentioned in the video. It's an amazing organisation that enables me to see work not just in Glasgow, but also sort of like to travel elsewhere and see work, and it makes me feel connected to Scotland in a different way. But similarly, even outside of venues, like the amount of festivals and even like the growing scene of scratch nights, and for those who are not UK and might not be familiar with that term, work in progress, or like just about finished work that is shown in smaller venues. It's growing in Glasgow as well, and that's really beautiful to see. So I'm not going to pick favorites, and I'm just saying my heart is open to various venues and institutions. Cheeky questions here.
That is a beautifully diplomatic answer. So thank you for that. Thank you both. And I can see we've got some links being put in the chat for everyone who's watching. We've got another 5 minutes left, so if you have any questions for Cristina and Liz, please do put them in the chat. But I'm going to continue asking you both questions because I'm very nosy. And I know my colleague Max has in the past been able to do some fantastic film work with your students. And again, I'm hoping my YouTube magic moderator will pop some links to those videos in the chat. But I wondered if you both could maybe tell us a bit more about maybe some of the independent research projects and dissertations. Like, what kind of things have students done in the past? Is there any limits to what they can do?
Well, I can start. I possibly have a bit more of an idea of this year's students than Cristina, just because of the structure of the way the courses work. And the theatre and performance practice students have sort of been developing work really across the year that most of them are pursuing into their final performance practices this summer. So just to give a sort of idea of the range, we've had work that's been autobiographical practice, so students writing very much about their own lived experience, and working on how to curate that artistically in ways that are engaging for an audience, and looking at kind of wider social concerns, particularly in relation to neurodiversity, mental health, dual heritage backgrounds, all of those different kinds of facets of identity. So that's been really exciting. We've had students from China who've been working with European models of physical theatre performance for the first time. So kind of coming here and discovering this mode of clowning and comic performance and really, really engaging with developing that. And we've had students working with live art installation practices. We've had choreographic practices working with light and sound. And so, you know, a huge range really of work from students from across the world, either developing things that they're already engaged with or discovering new forms to explore.
And on the side of playwriting and dramaturgy and theatre studies, so it's a bit early, they literally just submitted their proposals this year. But as Liz mentioned in the presentation, it's a really interesting model in as much as students can work on a desk base, 12,000 to 15,000 word dissertation, or they can do something that is a little bit more applied research or practice as research model. So just to flag up some examples from the past, last year I supervised a wonderful archival research project that was looking at the practices, the dramaturgical practices of the suffragettes, and was doing extraordinary archival work. I have had another student, for example, examining multilingualism in performance and trying to think about the poetic and political value of doing that and the ethical value of doing that now. And again, like students working as well through research, through creative practice, but really embarking on a research project in doing that. So trying to figure out, for example, like how do I orchestrate participation in playwriting in a way that delivers this thing? So I want to make it as open as possible, but I still want to retain control. How do I do that? And trying to look at different models of playwrights who might be doing that in their own practice. So yeah, full range of periods, topics, and approaches. And as Liz said, some students, we have a really good mix of international and home students. So we might have students who are looking at something really specific about Scottish theatre, and others who might really bring other areas of interest into it as well.
Brilliant. That sounds amazing. And yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what the next cohort of students bring for us and the showcases and performances. I think we've come to the end of our session. So can I get you both to please remind us the date for the showcase, please?
Yeah, it's the 26th of June.
26th
and
of June.
It's in the evening, and it will be in our building, the Gilmore Hill Halls in the theatre. But you will receive an email. And yeah, as Liz said, keep an eye on our socials. We're now on Blue Sky, so keep an eye on that.
Fantastic. And I'm right in thinking that we also have a live Q&A coming up with you and some of your students as well.
That's right.
And that should be Wednesday, 28th of May at 2 p.m. British Summer Time. So again, keep an eye on your emails. Looking forward to that one.
Thank you so much.
Yep, so that brings us to the end of the session. And I think just to round things off, can you both please remind me who it is students should contact if they have any more questions between now and the Q&A?
Yeah, I mean, they're always welcome to contact me. I'm convener of the overall programmes. Cristina specifically is the person who knows most about the playwriting and dramaturgy, but either of us will either get back to you or forward you to the correct person to respond. So yeah.
But please do, if what we explained today didn't touch on something that you're wondering about, do not hesitate. We'll be really happy to have a chat with you.
Okay. Thank you very much, both. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and watching. And we look forward to seeing you at the showcase and the Q&A later this month. Bye, everyone.
Bye.